Wow. Congratulations to the Get CalFresh team. That's incredible.
It's fantastic work and a great announcement for the end of.
Absolutely. And to the Clear My Record team and to the 2019 Code for America Fellows. All kinds of good news happening here today.
So, we're nearly at the end. We're in the home stretch. I think we've had some fantastic and amazing speakers so far.
And there's more to come. We have another full day of great speakers and events. As we mentioned, this room will continue to feature our track keynotes. So up next after the break, we'll feature our civic innovation track keynotes. After lunch, we've got digital delivery and GovOps. We've got breakouts, lightning talks, the Civic Tech timeline.
All of the things.
All of the things. And all of you. We'd like to also give one more big round of applause and a huge thanks to the 20 or so volunteers who served on our 2019 Summit Content Committee, who put together this entire program and have been tirelessly running around, wrangling all the breakout sessions and keeping us in line. So thank you so much to the Content Committee.
And I just have one last request before we close out, which is that yesterday I was FaceTiming with my kids over dinner, and I was talking to my eldest, and he said, "Daddy, why are you at work in a mall?" Because I was standing by the escalator during reception, and there was just everyone milling around. And if you would indulge me, if I could grab a photo of everyone, so I can prove to him that I'm not actually shopping.
But you better bring something back, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, that's it for us. But to close us out this morning, we'd like to welcome back to the stage Code for America founder and executive director, Jennifer Palka.
Hi, everybody. I appreciate the big round of applause for our wonderful content committee. We now also need to have a big round of applause for Dan and Corey, the co-chairs of the event today. You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Flowers from our local Oakland flower shop. So Dan and Corey are not just, telling stories of other folks, though I think they do that beautifully. They do the work. They've been doing the work for years. They understand the meat of this. They understand what all of you are going through, and I think they've reflected it so beautifully in pulling an event together that I'm super proud of, and hope that you were too. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
I have a couple more thanks, though. I'll start off by saying we also have a town hall at the end of the day today. Does anyone know what room it's in? No, doesn't matter. You can figure it out. It's in your little app or in your little book. And we hope that you'll come, and it's sort of a time for us to sort of process together a lot of what happened, your feelings about the event, your feelings about where this work is going, where you want it to go, what you want to come back to next. So I hope you'll show up for that. I have a number of thank yous, but we're going to save some of them for that town hall, so please show up. I have a particular thank you that I'd asked for a little bit of time with all of you on, and you may not all know this person, but St. Mayer came to us about 4 years ago and has been our chief program officer for most of that time. And Code for America was a wonderful and somewhat chaotic place when she came, and she has made it something so much better and so much different, and really is secretly so responsible for so much of the progress that we keep talking about every year, moving the bar, getting deeper in the work, having it be more tied to policy and process, more tied to human outcomes. And she's leaving us after this summit, and I cannot let her go without not only thanking her personally, but having all of us give her a really, really warm and heartfelt thanks for all that she's done for this larger community. Can you come out, please, ST? ST Mayer. And like me, she is not really leaving. She's moving to some new position on the field because she is always going to be part of this work, always going to be demonstrating an amazing style of leadership that brings work forward And this is not the last you're going to see of her, right?
Definitely not.
Okay. Made her promise in front of everybody. Great. Thank you. Thanks, ST. That's a hard one. Yeah. So just a couple more announcements. We've been talking about our bigger tent, and we're pitching this tent on the East Coast next year, March 11th through 13th. We're going to DC. We're moving into the belly of the beast, and I know that's for a lot of you that come from the West Coast, and this is an easy trip. I apologize for making you go across the country, especially when it might still be snowing in DC. But I think it's going to be a really interesting dynamic. And I know a lot of you who have made the trek from the East Coast or from Europe or wherever it is you're coming from, you've wanted it to not just be a West Coast event, and we're going to try it out. I'm super excited about it. It's 2 months earlier than this year, so it's basically happening like tomorrow, and we need to get started working on it. But we're already looking forward to that. We're already looking forward to hopefully all of you coming, and as Rebecca and others do, bringing more people along. So DC, March 11th through 13th. You know, it doesn't hurt to just put it on your calendar now. You all have calendars that go into next year. I mentioned that we have the town hall at the end of the day. We also have ELGL's wonderful GovLove podcast happening at the same time. So if you're not interested in coming and processing with us, go to that. It's going to be super amazing. And then there'll just be a whole bunch of people milling around, talking and having a wonderful time. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the day, as well as all of the sessions that Dan and Corey talked about. All right, just a final note so we can let you go and talk with each other and you go to your sessions. As you walk out of this room and into the hallways, and then as you go get in your Ubers or Lyfts or BART, hopefully some of you BART or bike and either go home, get on a plane or just go home if you live in the Bay Area. Just take a moment as you're leaving to think about what this meant for you and what you're taking away from it. It's just good time to pause and think about what you want to have happen when you come back together with this group next year. I think one thing that's obvious, and we talk about it a lot, but is that deep and sustainable change simply isn't possible without these human connections. And I'm talking about the human connections that we have here, but also the reminders that when we're talking about government services that operate at a normal scale, we're talking about data, we're talking about, as Kate and Kim just did, serving people in the millions with important services. We use a lot of numbers, and there are real people behind those numbers, not just the real people who get to come to this event, but the real people who aren't in the room, but whose voices need to be represented. And I would ask you just to think about those human connections as you leave here and ask yourself, what new, stronger connections are you going to bring into this metaphorical tent, into this work? So reflect on that throughout the day. Go have a wonderful afternoon, and I hope to see you at the Town Hall or the GovLove podcast, and of course next year in DC. Thank you, everyone, for coming.